représentant de l'Allemagne.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, we are delivering our statements as German youth delegates in our own capacity. Over the last 6 months, we traveled over 10,000 of kilometers, meeting thousands of young people and collecting over 3,000 youth demands. We gained experiences that led us speechless, have inspired us, and let us even quiet. We realized 2 things. First, the youth. There's no one youth. We are colorful, and the youth's greatest value is its diversity. Second, and more urgently, the UN is at a crossroad regarding youth participation. If we look through our windows, what do we see? A world facing big problems, states let migrants drown in the sea, people getting persecuted because of their religion or belief, their ethnic background, or because of their sexual orientation or gender. Let us look back to what the former German youth delegates have already demanded and to ourselves. Disarmament, a UN youth board, and even smaller demands as that the UN pay its interns. I could give you now a best of unfulfilled youth demands over the last 15 years. Will our speech also belong one day to that? Please do not understand us wrong. We in this room, we are the first generations that can end extreme poverty, and maybe the last one that can stop the climate change. We have the potential, we have the resources, and the know-how to change the world, but we are not doing it. Instead, we are losing ourselves in egoism and nationalism. The youth sees that, and I fear that the youth will lose its trust into the United Nations because of that. Therefore, we call on the United Nations and all its member states to show solidarity in 2 ways. First, solidarity between the states. We have to stop fighting against each other, and every form of neo and post-colonialism must end. We have to help each other and take immediate steps to end extreme poverty and create real gender equality. Second, we call on you, as well as our generation, to show solidarity between the generations. Let us use our potential to change the world. Let us include the society in all its diversity, regardless of their gender, ethnic background, their disability, sexual orientation, or even age. We have to do that, or the UN will lose us, its future, if we are now going to produce the next episodes of unfulfilled youth demands.
When we worked together with young people in workshops to collect their ideas, we talked to privileged and poor young people from rural and urban areas. Many of them had never heard of the United Nations before. They talked to us about topics such as peace, equality, health, and the efficiency of policymaking. I noticed that many of them were not used to expressing their opinion. Instead, they were surprised and overwhelmed by the opportunity to make a change on the international level. The collection of ideas from young people has given me a new perspective on how we should be tackling these issues. Instead of saying young people's demands are too unrealistic, we should not be afraid to have a more critical, creative, and challenging view on the goals we're trying to achieve. Keeping in mind that the solutions found when the youth is involved are more successful, we encourage everyone to act more like young people and invite a new perspective to challenge your view in discussions, since your own perspective is always incomplete. After we have collected over 3,000 demands of young people, I noticed that there was one topic that was mentioned in every single workshop, and it was the protection of the environment. The most prominent demands of young people on the issue of climate change are the protection of life on land and underwater, the exclusive use of renewable energy resources, and the ban of plastics, as well as the taxation of greenhouse gas emissions. The drastic consequences human impact is having on the environment is mobilizing the young generation and inducing feelings of anxiety and anger towards the local, national, and international level, since the actions made so far are perceived as too retentive. As a consequence, youth is losing its trust in the decision makers, especially when we're not included in the process, even though the decisions made today affect our generation the most. It is also important to mention the role education plays when it comes to climate action. Education is the key to change and brings everyone to the table, ensuring inclusion and equality. So far, there are 2 messages I've learned from my engagement with young people as a youth delegate. First of all, young people are key contributors when we want to create a future that is worth living in. And secondly, action has to occur fast in order to call forth the change needed. Thank you.
Je remercie les 2 délégués de la jeunesse allemands et je les remercie aussi pour leur dynamisme et leur optimisme. Nous avons entendu les dernières personnes inscrites sur la liste pour la présente séance.